Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to, I think this is video 2 of my favorite exercises. Today I'm going to cover 2 exercises. One's going to be what I call a tipping bird. It's going to look a lot like a single leg deadlift. The other is going to be a category of exercises called pull-aparts. This first exercise, I call it tipping bird. Sometimes people will call it by another name, but don't get caught up in what the name of an exercise is so much. Just know what it is and know how to do it correctly. Essentially, all you're going to do is you're going to stand on one leg and you're going to bend and hip hinge from your hip down and then come back up under control. Some people will use a weight. I used to use a weight years ago. You hold a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a barbell. Like I said, it looks like the same thing. It's the same exact thing, except now when you use a weight, you've got a lot more risk of injury. I'm not saying you're gonna get injury, but I had a couple times where I tweaked my back pretty bad doing them. Probably something that I did, my fault. But my question to myself was like, do I really need to use weight on these? For me, my answer was no. So I don't do these with weight anymore. I just do them slowly. I do them often. I do them with perfect form. And I think the benefits you get from them are great. You get a lot of good things happen when you do these. Obviously, you're doing both legs. A lot of people in the beginning, when you do these, like I said, this is a hip hinge. We're hinging from the hip. A squat is where you go more up and down. See, my knees and my hips are bending. This is more bending from the hip, but you're not gonna have a straight knee. Your knee's gonna bend a little bit, and as you go down, as you get better at them, the knee may bend a little bit more, but you're doing most of the work from your hip, which means your butt, your hamstring, some of your back and your core, your feet are gonna be working a lot. So if you're new to this exercise, I would prefer that you do it on a nice, safe, soft, not necessarily soft, but firm ground, barefooted. Take your shoes and socks off. Let your feet feel the ground because they're sending a lot of information to your brain. You want to work on doing these really slow. A lot of times in the beginning, people, they're not good at balancing. So they get off and they're wobbling all over the place. That's okay. If you need to in the beginning, get used to putting your toe down and bending from your hip and then coming back up and just get used to that. Once you feel like you can balance, keep your foot off the ground and go as far down as you can that you can still come back up under control. I don't care so much in the beginning how far somebody goes down. This is as far as I ever go down. I make a right angle and then come back up. But in the beginning, you may only be able to come down here and then come back up under control. But do come all the way back up tall, squeeze your butt. Eventually in time, you can go slow, pause down here and come up. Lately, I've been doing these where I add like a little stretch in, where I grab here, open my chest up, and I come down and do these. I square off my back. The more you do them, the better you get. Don't overthink anything. Start slow, build strong, and we're moving on. Second exercise is what I call pull-aparts. Pull-aparts are a category of exercises that probably came from physical therapy. These are exercises to help with shoulders and to rehab them from an injury. If you don't have an injury, it's often said that they would be a prehab exercise because you're doing them to prevent an injury. Doesn't matter what the name is. All we're using is a rubber band on this first exercise. And I basically take the rubber band overhead. It needs to be stretchable, but not too tight, maybe not too loose. I straighten out my arms, and then I'm just gonna pull all the way till my arms are straight. I'm pausing right here, just like that, and then coming back up slow. It's okay, you're gonna have some slack at the top. Coming down slow, 1, 2, 3 Mississippi, holding for a couple of seconds, 1, 2, and then coming back up slow. There's lots of different ways to do this. Some people will pull this way, pull this way. I'm just showing you 2 versions today that I really, really like, and that's one of them. So now here's a second variation of a pull-apart that I do. You could use the same rubber bands. This will work. I would just double them up. But what I often use when I'm traveling, I'm on vacation, and I need to do something for my upper body is I'll take a towel. This is just a pillowcase. Anything cloth about that wide, and I'll just grip it overhead, pull it tight a little bit, and I'll drive my elbows all the way down really slow. See, my elbows are as low as they'll go, and then I'll lock my elbows out up top. And I'm also kind of shrugging. I'll do about 10 or 15 of both of these exercises really slow, locking my elbows out, driving my elbows low. And what I'm trying to do is move my shoulder blades. I'm trying to involve my shoulders, my rotator cuff muscles. And then there's a whole host of muscles that run across your upper back. They are involved with posture. They are involved with the rhythm of your shoulder blades. They're really important to keep healthy. So I do these a lot to prevent injuries. So if you're new to exercise, these may be kind of hard for you. They may be like a full-on strength exercise, but if you exercise regularly, everything that I showed you today is stuff that I would normally use in my warm-up or on a day that I'm going really, really light. But these are very, very important exercises. I'll often do both of these pull-aparts in the same workout. Sometimes I'll do them as a superset with other exercises, but the point is to do both of these regularly because you're working the 4 knots of the body. You've got 2 shoulder sockets, ball and socket joints, and 2 hip ball and socket joints down here. Often in martial arts, they call these the 4 knots. You want to keep these mobile. You don't want them to be knotted up because when you're knotted up in these areas, your body doesn't move well. When you're loose in these areas and you're strong in these areas, you've got a lot of ability that your body can demonstrate, and that's what you want. Stay healthy. Don't overcomplicate this stuff. Write me if you have any questions. I'll see you soon.